Hunting for Answers is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. Welcome to Hunting for Answers, a true crime podcast. I'm your host, Hunter, and today we're highlighting a case that began in Henrico County, Virginia. In August of 2000, a 7-year-old girl being treated for AIDS stopped showing up to school. She stopped receiving consistent medical care. She failed to appear at court hearings. And the woman who was supposed to be caring for her claimed the child was living with 2 women in California. But when authorities tracked down those women, they said they had never seen the girl. It would take nearly 2.5 years before a missing child investigation was officially opened. By then, the woman who had custody had collected $24,000 in government benefits, money meant for a child who could no longer be found in the system. This is the story of Brittany Renee Williams. Brittany Renee Williams was born March of 1993 in Virginia. Her mother, Rosemary Thompson, was diagnosed with AIDS just 3 months before Brittany was born. From the moment Brittany entered the world, her life was marked by serious medical needs and instability. Rosemary struggled with her own health and with providing a stable home. As a result, Brittany spent time in foster care during her early years. In 1996, as Rosemary's health continued to decline, she made a decision she believed would protect her daughter. Around that time, she transferred guardianship of 3-year-old Brittany to a woman named Kim Parker. Parker was the founder of Rainbow Kids Incorporated, a group that provided care for children with medical needs. On paper, it appeared to be an ideal placement for a medically fragile child. Parker operated a private foster home out of her house in Henrico County. Over the years, she took in many children, many with serious medical or developmental needs. Parker operated a private foster home out of her home in Henrico County. Over the years, she took in many children, many with serious medical or developmental needs. Brittany lived with Kim Parker from 1996 until 2000. During that time, neighbors and acquaintances would later report concerns about neglect. At least one neighbor said she contacted authorities more than once. Others reported reaching out to Child Protective Services with similar worries. Despite these warnings, Brittany remained in Parker's care. And then in August of 2000, Brittany Renee Williams was last seen. After that, Brittany stopped appearing in places she was expected to be. She did not return to school, leading to a truancy case. She stopped receiving consistent medical care, a serious red flag. She failed to appear for court-ordered proceedings. When Kim Parker was asked to produce Brittany, she did not. In court, Parker claimed she had given Brittany to 2 women in California, saying she could no longer care for her. When investigators located those women, they said they never had custody of Brittany, and they did not know where she was. Despite these warning signs, no immediate missing child investigation was launched. Court hearings came and went. Explanations were accepted. Meaningful follow-up never came. It wasn't until January of 2003 nearly 2.5 years after Brittany was last seen, that she was finally reported missing. By then, the most critical window of time had passed. Once the case was opened, law enforcement began an extensive search. Investigators searched Kim Parker's home. They dug through her yard. They even drained the septic system, searching for any sign of what may have happened to Brittany there. They found nothing. No remains, no evidence, no trace of a child. What they did find was a financial trail. For nearly 2 years after Brittany disappeared, Kim Parker continued collecting benefits intended for Brittany's care. In total, authorities said Parker took more than $24,000. Prosecutors said the money was used for personal expenses, including home improvements. In 2003, Parker was indicted on 73 counts of fraud, including mail fraud, wire fraud, and Medicaid fraud. In December of 2003, Kim Parker accepted a plea deal. As part of that deal, she was sentenced to a total of about 10 years in prison. But she was never charged in connection with Brittany's disappearance. For years, investigators believed Brittany was likely deceased. Without consistent medical care and life-sustaining treatment, they said it was unlikely that she could have survived. The case remained unsolved for years, until June of 2021. That's when a woman named Kaylin Stevenson came forward, claiming she was Brittany Renee Williams. She said a DNA test showed a possible connection to Brittany's maternal half-sister. She pointed to surgical scars and childhood memories that seemed to align with Brittany's past. The story spread quickly. Could Brittany have survived? Henrico County Police launched a full review. They analyzed medical records, adoption documents, and DNA results, including DNA analysis conducted with FBI assistance. In July of 2022, police announced their conclusion. The woman was not Brittany Renee Williams. The DNA and medical evidence did not match. Despite that conclusion from authorities, and despite never having been diagnosed with AIDS, Kaylin Stevenson has continued to maintain that she is Brittany Renee Williams. After that announcement, a reporter attempted to question Kim Parker at her home in South Carolina. When asked what happened to Brittany, Parker walked back inside without answering. To this day, she has never publicly provided a clear explanation for what happened to the child in her care. Brittany Renee Williams was 7 years old when she disappeared. She was a child with serious medical needs, reliant on caregivers for survival, and left unprotected by the systems around her. More than 2 decades later, her case remains unsolved. Anyone with information about the disappearance or whereabouts of Brittany Renee Williams should contact the Henrico County Police Department or Crime Stoppers. You can find their contact information in the description below. As we close out this episode, remember that sharing Brittany's story helps make sure her name is not lost, and that the search for answers continues. Follow Hunting for Answers for updates on this case and others like it. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more true crime stories and case updates. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode. Until next time. Hunting for Answers is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network. For more podcasts from the Black Effect Podcast Network, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.